If you are not closing 2 to 3 homes a month consistently, this episode is for you because today I'm going to break down the 3 skills you need to fix that. Are you tired of feeling like you're doing all the things as a real estate agent but still not seeing consistent results? Well, that ends right now. Welcome to the Profitable Real Estate Agent, the show for agents who are ready to stop winging it and start building a profitable and sustainable business. This season, we're going to cut through the noise and focus on exactly what it takes to make $100K as a real estate agent. Without the guesswork, without the overwhelm, and without wasting time on things that don't move the needle in your business. I'm pulling back the curtain on the exact framework that took me from my first 100K to 500K to building a 7-figure business. So if you haven't hit 100K yet or you struggle with inconsistency, don't worry, I've got you covered. It's time to take action. Let's get to work. If you are not closing 2 to 3 homes a month consistently, it boils down to 2 areas, your mindset and your skill set. Now, inside my program, I break this down in depth. I actually spend a whole module talking about this specific issue because inconsistent income is almost always a symptom. It's not the root problem. But today I want to focus on 3 core skill set gaps that I see come up over and over again with agents who are stuck. And here's the great news. These are all skills you can learn, practice, and perfect so you can finally build momentum and start seeing results. The first skill is managing your schedule like a CEO. This is a huge missing link for agents and an area that so many agents do resist because they tell me, well, Vanessa, I got into real estate for the freedom and flexibility. But you cannot have that and also have a business that yields you consistently. Because if your calendar is chaotic and not structured, guess what? Your business will be as well. But I guarantee you, no one sat you down and held your hand and said, hey, here's what actually should be on your calendar. Oh, and by the way, here's how much time you spend on each thing. And oh, let me show you how to build a plan. I definitely know they didn't teach us this when we got our real estate license. So what are you doing now? Are you checking your email 10 or 20 times an hour? Scrolling social media endlessly with no real intention, or maybe you're getting ready to get ready. These activities never move the needle in our business or get you to the closing table. But the 5 fundamentals will. You know these fundamentals. If you've been listening to me long enough or follow me on IG, this is all I drill into your heads. These are the income-producing activities that need to be blocked every day on your calendar. Now, I do break this down in great detail in episode 13. So if you want an example of your 6-figure weekly schedule and how to put the fundamentals on there, go back to that one. But here are the highlights of those fundamentals. They're going to be practicing our conversations, talking to people every day, of course, is your lead gen, following up with all your leads and having conversations. And we're going to dig into that in a moment, going on appointments and executing agreements. But you can see the flow here and why it matters, because if you're not talking to people, you have no one to follow up with. If you're not following up, you're not going to book appointments. And without appointments, you're not going to get agreements. Without agreements, you're never going to get to the closing table or start closing homes consistently. Do you see how it's all connected? And when you treat these 5 as non-negotiables, I promise everything in your business will get simpler and more predictable. Skill set gap number 2 is you're not following up. How much time, energy, and maybe even money did you throw at getting a lead? So much of that time and energy. And if you don't follow up with them, you're not going to be making money. The lead is going to go cold and it's going to go to someone else. But why are you not following up? And it usually comes down to these 2 things. You don't know what to say, or you don't have a plan to follow up. So let's break down both of these so you can fix it starting right now. Hey, a real quick pause before we go deeper. If you're listening right now and thinking, I want a clear plan to finally reach 100K, then check out my signature program. It's my step-by-step framework for real estate agents who are ready to stop winging it and start building real results. Inside, you're going to learn the exact fundamentals to build the foundation to hitting 100K. We're going to cover everything from mastering your buyer and seller consultations to building your database and delivering a 5-star client experience and everything in between. You're going to get access to my scripts, templates, and checklists. Plus, we're going to have coaching, accountability, and support so you never feel alone. Click on the link in the show notes now to join the roadmap to 100K. All right, let's take you back to the episode. First, let's talk about what to say, because if you're hesitating to follow up, it's probably because you're either overthinking it or you're afraid of maybe being annoying or sounding salesy. So here are 3 simple messages that you can use starting today. Hey, Vanessa, are you still thinking about moving this summer, or has your timeline shifted? I saw a home that popped up that fits your criteria exactly, and I wanted to send it over. Can you confirm the best email address for you? Or, hey, Vanessa, are you still planning to sell your home this year? If so, I'm seeing some changes in the market and in your neighborhood, and I feel that it's really important to share it now. I've got time today at 2 or tomorrow at 3. What works better for you? Keep the messages helpful and relevant, and avoid saying things like, I'm just checking in. Now, let's talk about your plan for following up. I want you to start with blocking 30 minutes every day dedicated just for this. Now, of course, as your database grows, so will the time that you dedicate to follow up. But let's go ahead and just start with 30 minutes a day. You've got to get a database to track and store all your leads, because this is the way you're going to be able to take notes and set reminders for the next follow-up. Also, if you have a database, it allows you to consistently call and text 2 letters each week of the alphabet. So this way you're touching base with everyone at least 1 time per quarter. I'm sure you've heard the saying, fortune is in the follow-up, and this is where I really thrived, which is why my database has earned me 7 figures consistently. Your last skill set gap is how you're handling your objections. And for many agents, this is where they get stuck because they're afraid they're going to get an objection that they don't know how to handle. So they'd rather just say, I'm just not going to lead generate or follow up or go on an appointment. But here is why I tell you, you need to be practicing your conversations every single day. This is why it's one of the fundamentals, because objection handling is a skill that can be learned and developed. And sometimes, let's be real, right? We're not going to get ready because we're never going to take action. Sometimes you've got to learn on the job, and you're going to make mistakes. I've made so many mistakes over my career, but I rather would have said, hey, I made the mistake than to never try at all. And I want you to consider that an objection is not necessarily a rejection of you. It's simply a question that the client has. So for example, if the client says, well, I need more information before I move forward, or will you discount your fee? The client is not saying they don't want to work with you. And I think many of us get so fearful and we stop the conversation right there. We don't even know what to do. But it is your job to stay calm, get curious, and ask more questions. And I always love asking a question back, because this is what really helps me understand what their objection really is and get clarity. What are they really asking me here when they say, I need more information before I move forward? Because perhaps I wasn't clear on something that I was offering or what the process was. So we've got to get curious to get curious. And here's what I want you to start with today. Write down 3 common objections that you hear most for your area, and then write it out and respond in your words. Then practice saying them out loud, whether it's in your car, on the drive to an appointment, to yourself in the mirror, to your dog, to your cat, or whatever animal you have in your home, or find a script partner in your brokerage. Objections are not something to fear. You just have to understand they're part of the process of being a real estate agent. And this, of course, is a skill that you can develop and learn over time. Well, that wraps up today's episode. I want you to be sure to follow me on IG for daily tips and strategies to continue to grow a predictable and profitable business. Bye for now. Success as a real estate agent comes down to a decision to show up, take action, and stay committed. So don't just listen. Apply what you learned today and put it into motion. If you need help getting started, I want you to grab my free 60 lead gen strategy guide so you can start finding the right lead gen strategies that'll work for you. And if you're a motivated, ambitious agent who's ready to hit 6 figures, join my Roadmap to 100K program. You'll find both links in the show notes. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with a fellow agent and leave me a 5-star rating and review, as it helps more agents just like you find the show. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time on The Profitable Real Estate Agent.